I was born in 69 BC in Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great, situated in the Nile Delta. I became a prominent queen of ancient Egypt, and my name resonates even today. I am among the most recognized women in human history. Throughout my life, I was known for my strategic acumen, determination, keen intelligence, and cunning, alongside possessing immense wealth. The Greek philosopher Plutarch once wrote about me, her presence, combined with her ability to charm, was irresistible. In my time, I fascinated many, and even today, my story continues to enchant. Scholars study and debate my life extensively to comprehend my achievements. In a temple dedicated to Venus, at the request of Julius Caesar, my Roman lover, a golden statue of me was erected. This monument stood and was revered at the site until at least the 2nd century AD. Interestingly, I was even worshipped as a deity, specifically as the new goddess Isis, one of ancient Egypt's principal deities. I was also identified with Aphrodite, the Greek goddess whose attributes closely resemble those of Isis. I possessed a sharp intellect and received an exceptional education typical of royalty. Raised in the Palace of Alexandria, a renowned cultural center with the famous Library of Alexandria, I was fluent in 7 or 8 languages. This linguistic prowess greatly facilitated my diplomatic negotiations and political strategies. I am noted as the first in my family to speak Egyptian fluently without the need for interpreters. Furthermore, I studied philosophy and rhetoric from a young age, mastering oratory with correct posture, appropriate gestures, and a soft voice. Living in Alexandria, a cultural hub, deeply influenced my cultural development. My achievements included being the lover of 2 renowned Roman generals of my time, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. However, like many historical figures, my life's details have been distorted over time. Today, my image adorns various objects, yet the truth about my life remains obscured. Regarding my physical appearance, Plutarch wrote, "She was not so remarkably beautiful that one could not turn away, but her charm was in her conversation and her presence." Coins and sculptures created during my time provide some insight into my features, often depicting a prominent nose and chin. I hailed from the Ptolemaic dynasty, which ruled Egypt for 3 centuries. Founded after Alexander the Great's death, my ancestor Ptolemy I Soter initiated this dynasty in Alexandria. I am Cleopatra VII, and before me, 6 other Cleopatras ruled in my family line. I lived in a lavish palace in Alexandria, adorned with wealth and beautiful ornaments. With over 100 rooms and stunning gardens featuring statues and fountains, it was the grandest palace in the Mediterranean. Raised alongside my siblings, I had 2 sisters, Berenice IV and Arsinoe IV, and 2 brothers, Ptolemy XIII and Ptolemy XIV. Upon my father's death, I assumed the throne at 17, marrying my younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. As queen, I sought to maintain political ties, especially with Rome, securing alliances crucial for Egypt's stability. Diplomatically, I aligned myself with General Pompey to gain favor with Rome, a strategic move to safeguard Egypt's interests. In my early reign, I faced challenges from my brother and his advisors who sought to sideline me. Exiled, I raised an army in Syria to reclaim my throne. Meanwhile, Pompey, fleeing from his defeat by Julius Caesar, sought refuge in Egypt. Despite our past alliances, my advisors, fearing Caesar's wrath, betrayed and murdered Pompey, presenting his head to Caesar. Caesar's arrival in Alexandria posed another challenge. To meet him without alerting my enemies, I devised a daring plan. Disguised in a sack, I was smuggled into Caesar's palace by my servant Apollodorus. This clandestine meeting with Caesar was pivotal, leading to our alliance against my brother. Caesar's support allowed me to regain control of Egypt, and a romantic relationship blossomed between us. This alliance infuriated Ptolemy XIII, sparking a civil war. Known as the Siege of Alexandria, it ended tragically with Ptolemy drowning in the Nile. With Caesar's backing, I gave birth to our son, Ptolemy Caesar, known as Caesarion. Caesar's assassination in 44 BC thrust Rome into chaos, forcing me to return to Egypt for my safety. Meanwhile, Caesar's heir Octavian rose to power, challenging my position. My relationship with Mark Antony developed amid political turmoil. Invited to Tarsus in 41 BC, I impressed Antony with a lavish display, showcasing Egypt's wealth and culture. Our relationship deepened, resulting in the birth of twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene II. Despite political pressure, including Antony's marriage to Octavian's sister Octavia, our love endured. The Battle of Actium in 31 BC marked a turning point. Antony and I faced defeat against Octavian's forces. Separated by circumstance, I returned to Egypt, Antony following soon after. Desperate to preserve our alliance, Antony faced defeat and chose to take his own life. In grief, I sought solace but was captured by Octavian's forces. Fearing humiliation and loss of freedom, I contemplated suicide. Before Octavian could harm my children, I took my own life, choosing a dignified end. As I passed away peacefully, I fulfilled my final wish to be buried beside Antony. Thus ended the life of Cleopatra VII, the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty. My legacy endures, remembered for my intelligence, political prowess, and love for Egypt. Though my life was marked by triumphs and tragedies, my story continues to fascinate and inspire generations.